Sanibona, that means hello everyone in Zulu. My name is Candice Traskus, and this is Fanele Buthelezi. Um, we are both from South Africa. We're currently in just north of Durban, South Africa. And Ms. Morford actually sent us some of your questions that we'd love to answer for you guys. And hopefully we give you a lot of information for your upcoming project. All right, I think I'll start. I'll ask the questions, and then Fanele can answer some of them, and I'll add my 2 cents as we go along. All right, guys. First question. Is it still bad or dangerous over there? What is daily life like in South Africa? Fanele?
Bad? No. I don't feel it's bad. I don't know if it's because I've lived here all my life, but it's not a miracle that I'm alive. No, it's not that bad. And I think that the media sort of like exaggerates the situation, but it's not that bad because I can walk wherever I want. It's just that I have to make sure that I hide my positions and not hide, but then make sure that I don't flash and stuff that's gonna make people want to steal it. But I just feel that it's not bad. Yeah, and what is daily life like in South Africa? It depends where you live, because there's townships where most people live, and they're created by like through apartheid, where the government at that time was forcing people to live secluded from everyone else. Black people, yeah. That he like there was sort of like cities where only white people can live, and then townships where just divided according to only black people. And then you'll find that within township there's sections whereby only Indian people would live, only Xhosas, where only Zulus, like depending on the language and ethnic group that you're in. So that's another difference. But depends where you live. But I mean, there's a different life the different life from the city as compared to rural areas and compared to townships, basically. Yeah.
And the townships are still here. Obviously, they're not, blacks or Indians are no longer, made to live in these townships, obviously, but the townships still are primarily black, and there are some Indian townships as well. And there's still, I think, maybe that leftover, that residual, those residual townships because that's where a lot of the people were born, and I think they've just ended up staying there.
Yeah.
And
so a cheaper option.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to move to the city, it was more expensive. You have to buy another house, another bond, another expense. So why not live to a place that you've always lived? And yeah.
Just from my point of view, in terms of is it still bad or dangerous over here? I think the media does portray South Africa as a very dangerous country. It's definitely not as dangerous as some people may think it is. Obviously, you do have to be careful. I know from my perspective, I do have high walls around my house. We have electric fencing. I have an alarm that I put on every night. And I don't know if that's overkill or not, but I've never really felt threatened. I have had family members who've been held at gunpoint and had their possessions robbed. But then I've had people who've had nothing have happened to them. I think, it's kind of like, I was just thinking about it, it's kind of like people from the Midwest who come to New York City for the first time, and they think they're going to get killed at at every corner, and it's not like that in the city. So, it's your perception. Things can happen to you, and I think especially, if you're a tourist and you make yourself known that you're a tourist, you're an easier target. But you just have to, you have to be a little bit more careful. And I think it's just more about keeping your wits about you than it is actually the dangerous issue here.
Yes.
Okay, next question. Having lived through apartheid, how do you and your family feel as person or people? How do you feel that it is better? Do you feel that it is better to fight against something that is morally wrong or go along with it? Was your family involved with the anti-apartheid movement?
Really? Okay. Firstly, what is apartheid? The definition for apartheid, according to a language that an official language in South Africa, is apart freedom, basically. The hate is from an Afrikaans word, which means freedom. So the whole point of apartheid was to keeping people, was to separate people racially. But not only that, but to also separate them according to ethnic and language. And having lived through it, I didn't live much through it, but I absolutely love democracy. Had it not been for democracy, I wouldn't be sitting to Candace right now. I wouldn't be having friends that are Indian, black, colored, whites, whatever. Like it makes it. Thank God for democracy.
Amen. Um, I didn't really live. I was very young while apartheid was going on, so I don't know if I really didn't get a feeling of it because I didn't know what was going on. Obviously, I saw less black people where I was living, just because they were living in the townships. Um, but obviously, I think it's always better to stand up if you feel that something is morally wrong, and apartheid was absolutely morally wrong. I know my parents voted against apartheid, to end apartheid. They also voted for Nelson Mandela. That was they weren't full participants of the anti-apartheid movement, but that was their contribution. And obviously, apartheid we all feel was wrong. I don't think anyone, and if everyone still feels that it's right, and if they do, they don't express their opinion.
Yeah, but let me just say that basically we living the freedom fighters' dream. What they were fighting for, it wasn't a loss because we now living that life that they've always wanted to live. And because now I'm still young and I have my entire life ahead of me, I have no limitations. Like I'm not gonna be told not to succeed because of my race. And it's such a good thing that now I can just work towards my dream. Yeah.
Very well said. Another question: do you see a lot of people working in the mines?
No. No, I don't. At that time, mining was the prime industry to work in because there was not many options. As a black man, yeah. There was not many options in terms of what you wanted to work in. There was no way, like there wasn't much choice because the other option was to work as a garden boy. And I don't know what you call it in the States, but a garden boy is the person that basically works looking after your garden. And it didn't pay much, and sometimes nothing at all, paid nothing at all besides accommodation. And for them, especially for the breadwinners at that time, the only way they could earn a higher salary and come back to the families and provide was through working in the mines. But now we have choices, and I don't know if many people who want to work in the mines.
And also, us living in Durban, South Africa, there aren't many mines near us. Most of the mines, I think, are around Johannesburg. So we don't actually see. I mean, people obviously still work in the mines, but we don't really see them because there are no mines near us. Yeah. And going along with that question, are there blood diamonds everywhere, like on the streets?
No. No, I have never even seen a black diamond. I only saw it in that movie Blood Diamond. And there's actually a book that I don't know if you could get it from the States, but it's called Shades. And it talks about life at that time, like in the mines, what used to happen, how people used to be violated and being forced to do things, especially in terms of their race and how undermined they were. If you could get hold of the book, it's called Shades. Please read it.
I think blood diamonds are more in other countries in Africa, like Angola and the Congo. Mines here are governmentally and privately controlled. So there's a lot of rules and regulations when it comes to mining, and people aren't exploited for finding diamonds here. Whereas, like in the movie Blood Diamond, that they used to exploit the children and the workers there in order to further the rebels' causes. And so they would sell those blood diamonds in order to make money for their causes. And South Africa is a lot more advanced politically than I think a lot of the other African countries. And obviously other African countries are doing well, but specifically, about the blood diamonds, South Africa doesn't really experience that just because we have a lot more control over our mines, both privately and governmentally, like I said.